Welcome back to the channel, guys, and you join me for F1 2019, the Chinese Grand Prix at the Shanghai International Circuit. Now, we are coming off the back of a huge result, P6 in Bahrain. I mentioned there that we were going to have some aero upgrades for the car for China. The front downforce one came in, the rear downforce one has failed, unfortunately. So, is what it is, and looking at it, race is going to be cloudy but dry. But quali, there's going to be a thunderstorm, so that's going to be it's going to be an interesting one. Looking at the development, Ferrari have crept ahead of Mercedes, Renault and Haas bringing minor upgrades. We've bought an upgrade, and Williams bring a huge upgrade to be up there with Alfa Romeo. Let's get the admin out of the way nice and quickly. Let's get into quali.
Welcome to Shanghai, China, for what I've no doubt is going to be a fantastic F1 qualifying session.
So you can see this is me going out on the softs pretty much immediately at the start of the session, along with that looked like Sebastian Vettel's Ferrari, and there's a Mercedes coming down the pit lane. And yeah, now we're going out right at the start of the session because I wanted to get a lap in and sort of see what we could do, because it's due to rain within the first couple of minutes. You can see here, end of my out lap, I crept round. The McLaren is now ahead of me. There's more cars going to be coming out the pits, and here we go. We're going to give it maximum attack as we charge into turn one, and it's a long corner. I've gone wider than you would anticipate in the hope that the front end would eventually come around so you can kiss the curb on the inside and then line it up to then tackle turn three. Get the traction out of there is always awkward, but now we are moving down. Turn 5 is a nothing corner. It's completely flat, and then down towards turn 6 where Daniel Ricciardo invented the licking a stamp and sending it nice and slow. You need to go slower than you think you do in that corner to get the most out of it. Then through the left and right, and if you are ballsy, you can try and take it flat. I, however, did not do that, just because I was slightly offline going in, and if I'd gone flat, we'd have just disappeared off to the runoff area. Double left-hander here, where you just have to keep the steering input. Going over the curb can hamper your traction, and now we come across the second sector split. It's 54.3 so far, and then through this corner, take a bit of curve that unsettled the back end, and now through the long 180-degree right-hander where you just need to keep the power down and build as much speed as possible before the over kilometre-long back straight, which of course will be the #1 overtaking opportunity on the track. And we're up to high. Vettel sets the lap on a 33.4. That's probably going to be pole position if the heavens open any second now. Then on the brakes, and there you can see the blip. There indeed is the rain on the chassis. You can just see it streaking off now, so the heavens are going to open, and anyone on track now is going to have the best position. We're out the final corner. We're going to come across the line. So 36.1. It's good enough for P4 at the moment, as there's a Mercedes and Butler ahead of me, but Russell has gone slower. Is anyone else going to go quicker than me? Probably, because it wasn't a fantastic lap by any stretch of the imagination, but still P4, and come the end of the session, it's P9. Alex Albon, P7, myself P9, but Vettel, then Hamilton, Bottas, Magnussen, Butler, Stroll, Albon, Grosjean, Hull, and Hulkenberg is your top 10. Very topsy-turvy for the tyres that we're going to be on, and that's resulted in an interesting grid and probably quite an interesting Chinese Grand Prix. Let's get into it and let chaos reign on Sunday.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai. We start a lap here at Shanghai with the long, difficult right-handers of turns 1 and 2, the first of 16 corners that make up this 3.3-mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best passing opportunity of the lap, with speeds in excess of 200 miles per hour before the braking zone of turn 14. And with me as usual is Anthony Davidson. Now, I want to ask you about Lando Norris. As with all the drivers at this level, they have a lot of ambition, but Formula One's a daunting step up from any other series, so expectations are high right from the start.
That's right, it is a difficult environment to come into. In junior categories, you're competing against drivers with similar levels of experience, but some of these guys in Formula One have been there for over a decade. But I have to say, in this case, it's so far so good.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Sebastian Vettel has a clear track ahead of him today. He starts in pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, We have Bottas, Magnussen, Devon Butler, and Stroll, Albon, Grosjean, the captain, and Nico Hülkenberg, Russell, Verstappen, Robert Kubica, and Gasly, Norris, Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, and Charles Leclerc. Raikkonen and Lucas Weber completes the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
There you go, very topsy-turvy grid with a lot of the front runners at the back. So unfortunately, now looking at it, it might have been a bit of an error on my part, because the soft tyre is only due to go 4 laps, and then it's a couple of sets of mediums to the end of the race. So we'll see how that plays out. If we'd not qualified, we could have gone for a 2-stop. Regardless, we're committed now. We have 5 lights for the Chinese Grand Prix, and lights are out. Away we go, and it's a good response initially. Hülkenberg then gets a bit better acceleration, but we're in prime position to be able to make a move into turn 1. Grosjean leaves the door open, don't need to give us a second opportunity. Bit of wheel banging, and then we're up the inside of Alex Albon, and then Stroll squeezes us onto the grass, but no quarter given as we try and turn in to get the traction on Stroll. We can't get the move done. Butler is side by side with Kevin Magnussen, and we do have looks like Sebastian Vettel fending off the lead. Stroll slowing to the braking zone. We dive it down the inside, and then Butler swipes across us as we were taking admittedly it was a half-hearted look, but he did swipe across us, and that has cost me traction versus Lance Stroll. So we are up into 7th position, Albon down to 8th, Stroll retains P6, Butler is P5, Vettel continues to lead the Grand Prix. However, by the looks of things, he is swamped by both Mercedes. His rear gunner, Charles Leclerc, started this race in 18th position. So we're now moving on to the end of the first lap, and we're going to see if we can get in the slipstream of Lance Stroll. You've got to bear in mind he's going to have that Mercedes power, whereas we have the Honda down the back straight, and utilising the curb like that is horrible for our traction. Just got a bit unsettled in the dirty air behind that racing point, and that means Albon is going to be right up behind me to consider sending a move into the final or the penultimate corner, and Albon pulls alongside. We squeeze him slightly, but he's making a move. Can we try and outbrake him? Unless he comes onto line, we have outbraked him, but we're going to go very deep into the hairpin. That's probably going to allow him. We've gone onto the runoff. That is going to allow my teammate Alex Albon back through up into 7th position. So at one point it looked like we were going to be 6th on this opening lap, and instead we are down to 8th. Unfortunate. And now we're in the firing line versus Romain Grosjean. And we're already getting a notification about the pit window, so that goes to show how unforgiving this circuit is on the soft compound tyres. So the guys at the back, who of course are going to be closer than normal to the midfield, because you're going to have guys like me holding up the midfield, as you can see, that one stop is looking pretty preferable right now. So we're on to lap 2, onto the back straight, and we have Romain Grosjean in my slipstream. We're going to pull to the right hand side, but Grosjean has that Ferrari power. He's going to go straight through. We're going to duck into the slipstream, and I'm going to see if I can make a move into the final corner. We do have Nico Hülkenberg on my inside, and we've outbraked ourselves once again, misjudging the braking zones. Can we try and get Grosjean on exit? No, Grosjean swipes across us. Vettel setting the pace on a 38.0, and we are back down into P9. Another warning for another collision that we've made, and I don't think it's over yet, as Nico Hülkenberg is in my slipstream. He pulls to the left-hand side to try and make a move around the outside of turn 1, but Hülkenberg not quite able to get through, and now we're going to try and close up. The first sector is where I am the strongest. As you can see, we close right up to Grosjean. Obviously, the Honda engine is going to let us down in the final sector, but it's just the middle where I've not got any speed. And Pierre Gasly, who of course started outside the top 10 on mediums, up in to 10th place, and we've gone deep once again into turn 6. Gasly is going to try and get us on the acceleration. He is of course in the more powerful car. We're going to try and hold it to the inside of the flat left-hander, but Gasly, just look at the extra downforce he has in that Red Bull, was able to go around the outside. I try and pull a similar move, but the tyre wear and the marbles out there, compared with my lower downforce versus Gasly's Red Bull, meant I wasn't able to make a move. Back down into 10th place. China's normally good for me, but I just have absolutely zero pace, and I am basically backing up the midfield, and they're of course going to be able to leap us on their one stops. But now we come in for our first of 2 pit stops this afternoon. Grosjean in, and the whole field streaks past us there. We've got multiple cars in. Looks like Vettel was in, one of the Mercedes, the Racing Point of Stroll. Grosjean is in, Hülkenberg is in, Butler is in. We're going to go to one of the end pit boxes. Hopefully we'll get a jump on someone. as we change to the medium tyres. Can we get a jump on Lance Stroll? Unfortunately not. And I wasn't able to get away, and we ghosted through Hulkenberg. That was odd. Instead of us being able to try and jump Lance Stroll, we instead nearly lost out to Hulkenberg. But now, we have come out onto a lovely, fresh set of medium tyres, and let's hope that these are what we need to maybe switch our race on a little bit and try and catch the guys ahead of me. So, end of lap 5, we do have Hulkenberg up behind me. Alex Albon is in the pits this time around, so let's see where he's going to feed out into the mix. But we've got Hulkenberg in my slipstream, charging down towards the final corner. We're going to hold the outside line, left the door open slightly for Hulkenberg. We go a little bit deep, hoping for a better exit though on the wider line. That's exactly what we get, so no worries there. But Hulkenberg is right up behind us. Will he maybe get some DRS? Well, he will indeed get DRS down the pit straight. Can he make a move into turn 1? We're going to have to factor in holding the inside line. There filters out my teammate Alex Albon into 17th place, and Hulkenberg tries it round the outside, not able to get through. He does try and switch back underneath me, a move I would try and make into turn 2, not quite able to make the move, and you see Albon there pushing back against Stroll, pushing him back into me a little bit. But now we move on onto lap 7, and it does appear that I simply have no pace. In 100% honesty, this car and my driving style, I don't know what it is about this year's game, because last year I was good around China. This year's game, not so much. Don't know if it was maybe the setup I was running, or I'm full of racing drivers' excuses at this point, as you saw Hulkenberg get past me. So I am now sat in 20th out of 20. I am officially in the Williams position, and the key holder of the Wooden Spoon Award at the moment. But nonetheless, we need to try and push on, because we've still got 21 laps to go in this Grand Prix, so you never know what could happen. You know, never say never in Formula 1. You just saw with the German Grand Prix that went out there, Vettel, just simply through not making a mistake, started last, ended up second. Verstappen won it, Leclerc could have won it, anyone could have won that race realistically. Kubica got a point, for crying out loud. But anyway, we just need to get our head down and do what we can. But you can see by lap 12, Hulkenberg's got away. We're just lapping in 1 minute 41s. Kubica is in the pits from mediums, and he's going to go to the hard compound tyre. So I don't know, maybe we're racing Kubica this afternoon, I don't know. But that's essentially our goal, because we've got one more pit stop left to make, and Kubica is going to be slow on that hard tyre. But yeah, Hulkenberg's disappeared into the distance. So more cars are in the pits now. These guys that started on the mediums are in the pits for their one and only pit stop this afternoon. We've got Norris in, we've got what looks like one of the Alphas, and we've got George Russell on the hard side. George Russell going to be coming out right in front of me. We're going to sweep round the outside of the Williams into turn 1. And Russell not really going to be able to make a move to fight back against us. Yeah, but Ricciardo's out on the hard tyres. Looks like Sergio Perez, who wasn't up in the top 10 with Stroll, now out on those hard tyres. And half distance of the Grand Prix, and it's looking pretty bleak at the moment, as we've now got George Russell, the Williams, and it's one area that is good. Straight line speed. It's got rocket on the side, and it is very much a rocket ship. We're going to try and go around the outside of the hairpins. It's worked out so well in this Grand Prix for me, but we're not going to give up versus George Russell. I get the feeling that I might be able to make a move on him, because that Williams doesn't exactly like corners. If there was F1 drag racing, I'm sure it would work out brilliantly. But we've got Slipstream, we've got DRS, we're up into 16th place. And can we try and make a move on Russell through turn 1? No, but we do close up. Can the front end bite? And we try and just speed down the inside. No, Russell shuts the door. The front end just wouldn't quite grip. So I wasn't able to make a move on the young Brit there. But
some information on Albon. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
So Alex Albon, it goes from bad to worse at Toro Rosso. The fact that the guy that's been scoring all their points is having an absolute mare of a race. And now Albon, who's a little bit further up the field, not quite in the points yet, is also having an issue. But now lap 16, we're coming in for our second of the 2 pit stops this afternoon. If that was a gravel trap, I would have Lewis Hamiltoned it. Regardless, here we go in the pits. And I think we all know what position we're going to come out in here. It's unfortunate, but, you know, head down, see what we can do, as we've got all the Force India boys just beat, Force India Racing Point boys just beat Hulkenberg. So here we go. Fresh tyres on. Kubica has gone out, and he's currently in 17th place. We have Hulkenberg and Stroll between me and Robert Kubica. That is our target I can't believe I'm saying the Williams is our target to beat on a race afternoon. But, you know, we got to do what we got to do. 11 laps left in this Grand Prix. 12, I suppose, if you count the one we are on. And we now just have to give maximum attack, maximum effort as Albon and Kubica battling Albon down into 19th place. So Toro Rosso are 19th and 20th in the Chinese Grand Prix, having run so well in Bahrain. Good work, us. It's fantastic. Anyway, Kubica is down to 18th, and like I said, that's the guy we're trying to beat this afternoon. So got to try and set some personal bests. Maybe a 1:39 would help me charge towards the Polish driver, and indeed that's where we are. 1:39.7, 2.8 seconds behind Alexander Albon as we try and race up to the back of Robert Kubica. And come lap 20, Albon has caught Kubica and passed him, so he's no longer in the bottom two. I now need to get past him to not be last. And as you can see, I am thoroughly enjoying the attempt at trying to chase after him. And Kubica's actually fighting back versus Albon. Through the first couple of quarters, Robert Kubica has certainly not lost his edge, even though he's battling at the back of the field. So there you go, Albon holds the position, but Kubica gave it a fair old fight. And come the end of lap 21, he's now in front of me. And hopefully we can try and make a move soon. Jeff's banging on about tyres. I really don't care at the moment. He's very slow through the first corner, and he's left the door open for me. He's just going to turn in, which is, you know, a little bit naughty, but we're through on Kubica, up into 19th place. And I say that like it's some kind of achievement, but no, seriously, this has been not a good race for me. There is a train of cars just up ahead, though, and they are moving a little bit slowly, so hopefully me and Albon can salvage something from this Grand Prix, as Albon is up behind what looks like one of the Alphas. It's Kimi Raikkonen going slowly, and I did see a yellow flag on the main track as Albon's trying to go around the outside of Raikkonen into the hairpin. And can he get him on traction? Go on, Alex. I think he's going to get him into the final corner. Indeed he is, and George Russell is out the race. He was doing a fantastic job for Williams, running really, really high. I'd say like maybe 12th. But Russell's out the Grand Prix. That is going to promote us into 18th place out of 19 runners. So, I mean, you know, take that with what you will. Anyway, we need to pass. There's 2 laps left in this Grand Prix. We need to pass Kimi Raikkonen to get to our predicted finishing position of 17th. And we're going to be coming on to the last lap trying to do that. So, Raikkonen moving slowly on the hard tyre. It's just not quite working for him. Albon is just ahead of him. We've not got a lot of fuel. We've not got a lot of ERS. So it's going to be balls to the wall on this last lap and see if we can make it past the Alfa Romeo. So here we go. 39.8 is the lap time we've just set. We're comfortable now in the 39s now that we've worn off the fuel. Can we try and make a move into our favourite spot of turn 2 against Kimi Raikkonen? The car just not biting the way I want it to with the dirty air. So that's one opportunity missed, unfortunately. Can we now try and get good traction out of turn 3 to be able to make a pass into turn 6? That's our next overtaking opportunity, and Raikkonen, just with that extra power, is going to pull a little bit ahead of us. So not able to make the move here, and sector 2 is not really an overtaking spot. We just need to try and stay as close as possible. Charles Leclerc from 18th on the grid has won the Chinese Grand Prix. Fantastic drive, and Charles Leclerc, you are a Grand Prix winner. But now we're just trying to save some ERS on low versus Kimi Raikkonen to be able to actually just dump it all on the back straight to try and get him for 17th place. I don't know how far back Kubica has fallen. That Williams has really dropped off as this Grand Prix has gone on, but up behind Raikkonen, 4 tenths is the margin. We've gone a little bit deep into the left-hander. Now I just need to make sure traction through this right-hander. Don't go on the curb. Don't utilise any of that to compromise our run. And here we go. Up to Rich, up to high. We should be able, with the assistance of DRS, to get past Kimi Raikkonen on the last lap of the Chinese Grand Prix. Here we go. Breeze past him in a straight line. When's the last time you saw a Honda-powered car do that? Just don't outbrake yourself into the hairpin, Simon. What have you done? You've outbraked yourself every time you've tried to make a move. Up to hot lap, though, and we've defended from Raikkonen. It is going to be P17, which I keep sounding like is an achievement, but poor race all round. Poor race.
All right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, And a stunning win for Ferrari.
So, as I said, Charles Leclerc, you are a Grand Prix winner from 18th on the grid, and Pierre Gasly from 14th on the grid up to 2nd place. Those were the guys that capitalised on not being in the top 10 to be able to do a one-stop. Bottas and Hamilton did beat Vettel to the flag, so Vettel fell from 1st to 5th. And Bottas once again beats Lewis Hamilton, but they were not quick enough on their two-stop to match Leclerc and Gasly. Verstappen rounds out the top 6, and then Sergio Perez in 7th, doing his wonderful job there on a one-stop with Ricciardo, Magnussen and Grosjean rounding out the top 10. It's a miracle to see the Haas guys getting there on that two-stop. So really, really good work from the Haas boys to make that two-stop work in that car. Lucas Weber just missing out on a point against Romain Grosjean from the back of the grid. Butler, that two-stop not really working for him, but I was not racing those two today. As you can see, when we scroll down, we are in 16th place. In the end, it turns out that Stroll was lapped. So I don't know if Stroll had a late race issue to drop back that far. But anyway, moving to the driver's side of things, Vettel and Hamilton now tied on points, 54. Bottas 11 points back. Then Leclerc jumps up now 40 points up into 4th place with Verstappen and Perez dropping down. Gasly, with that result, gets his first points of the season. Wow, up into 7th. And there's me there in 9th, just behind Kevin Magnussen on our 9 World Championship points there. So moving over to the Constructors, Mercedes do lead the way. Ferrari nipping at their heels, 3 points behind. And Red Bull overtake Racing Point. And Renault and Haas jump up now, outperforming Toro Rosso. We need to try and get more consistent results, like even if it's just bottom end of the points like we did in Australia. We need to try and consistently be there, and this was a wake-up call, and it ended sort of the fairy tale run of those points-paying positions. But nonetheless, guys, that has been the Chinese Grand Prix. I hope you have enjoyed. I know I certainly didn't, but I hope you guys did. Leave a like if you didn't. Comment any feedback down below. Next time out, we have my absolute favourite circuit on the calendar. That is not sarcasm at all. In the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but it has had a tendency for a bit of a madness. So you never know. I don't know if this is going to be my most hated track, or like last year where Singapore became my most hated track. Who knows? If you want to be kept up to date with the content that comes to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button and enabling those notifications. And I will see you all next time.